and I think we should start, and I'm ready and waiting. Right now. So, a very warm welcome once again. I'm sure the post-lunch session gets heavier. As teachers, we understand. And just to tell you that, I was telling in one of the forum that as teachers, there's also a challenge. Uh, so I was, training a similar set of faculties at Himachal Pradesh, Shimla. Then they said that, sir, there is one problem that we face, and the problem is that as teachers, we cannot listen. So, we are always habitual of, delivering knowledge, imparting knowledge, most of the times. And we love to be at the dais and the students listen. So I can also understand that as a teacher, unless the session is interactive, participative, the teachers as participants may not enjoy, because that is their normal or professional nature that has got developed. So with this, I want to make this session very participative, and for participation we would leverage the chat box. The chat box will be leveraged, and you can share your insights or inputs. Now, to begin with, I shall be showing you a picture, and with that picture, you want to share your insights that what do you think is this picture all about? I shall be sharing a picture. It's also a warm-up session, and you just have to tell me that what is this picture as per your mind. I request the participants who are attending for the first time should be more participative. What is this picture according to you? Then I will tell you why I'm telling you this. What is this picture showing? So this is a warm-up for all the participants. So you can post your suggestions in the chat box. We would be here. So wonderful. So Darshana has said that it is a Samudra Manthan and digging what we require, Samudra Manthan. And Priya has also said Samudra Manthan. So wonderful. Finding for what we want. So, I'm just looking for more inputs from your side. So Samudra Manthan is yes, of course it is Samudra Manthan. What else do you think it is? What are they doing? And if I may ask you directly, why are they doing it? Because why is very important. Yep, Devata and Rakshasas, very nice. But why are they doing it? What is that they're trying to solve for? Before we move on to our session, to get Amrit, okay, getting the gems hidden, very nice. Okay. Okay. Very nice. Some precious data. So Priya, you actually nailed it. So wonderful. Getting Goddess Lakshmi back, wonderful. So, multiple insights, multiple think processes, multiple, ways of looking at something, but you're absolutely bang on. This is Samudra Manthan, which is happening. The lot of information which is there inside the sea rests at the bed. Sedimentation process, heavier things settle at the bottom. The lighter part, water comes at the top, and there are some anomalies or unwanted sharks and whales inside the water body, which may be unwanted, other data points and unwanted jitter sounds, or probably the noise. But let me tell you that this is more or less, I would say, a history of data crunching, the history of getting insights, the history of business analytics, or to my mind, the mythology that defines that how on churning, crunching, and rounds of crunching, we can get things like Darshana has mentioned, Goddess Lakshmi. And Netra Patil has said Amrut. So something or the other, great things are there. So Samudra Manthan, one of the best known episodes in the Hindu philosophy, narrated in Bhagavad Purana, Mahabharata, Vishnu Purana, indicates the same methodology, indicates the same process, which is the origin of the nectar of immortality, which is the Amrita. Now, when we, as business analysts or data scientists, work a lot on this, work a lot on our data points, work a lot on our data set, do we get Amrit out of it? What is that we can get? You can use the chat box. When we do a Samudra Manthan on our existing data, what is that we can get? The chat box is open, and until unless we make this session interactive, trust me, it does not take more than 10 minutes after a heavy lunch to take a quick nap. Yes. What do you think? Yes, we can perform analysis. Suhasini, very nice. What else? What else do we want? Do we want analysis or wonderful? So Dr. Maharajana has said new insights or business intelligence. Wonderful. What else? Okay, new actions. Awesome. So when Samudra Manthan happened at that point in time, as per our mythology, they got some ratnas. The ratnas or the gems or treasures. They were produced from it and were divided between the asuras and devas. Similarly, in business analytics, extract, like Netra said, extract some meaningful data, useful information for decision making. As I say, data is the new fuel of economy. Data is like the gold mine. That gold mine is nothing less than a ratna that will be divided among the sales team, the marketing team, the logistics team, the operations team, and various teams that work in tandem at an organization. Now, during Samudra Manthan, there were three categories of goddesses which emerged. Do you know what were those three? The three categories were the Lakshmi, the Apsaras, and the Varuni. And trust me, in analytics, I also refer to them as three goddesses. They are descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. I'm not sure whether anybody has ever related, but trust me, these three meaningful insights are very critical. The descriptive analytics refers, in some books it says there are four type of analytics, five type of analytics, but what they do make descriptive into two parts, prescriptive into two parts. But what I recommend, that descriptive is something that has happened in the past, predictive is something that is going to be done in the future, and prescriptive is what you will be prescribing the organization that basis these insights, this is what I actually recommend you to take the decisions. Now, there are multiple insights that one can derive. There are other valuables insight. For example, I'm just, on the risk of getting it too much mythological, but other valuables are also getting produced. For example, the acquisition funnel, the retention funnel, the usage funnel. These are the insights that one can get. Now, what is acquisition? Where do I acquire new customers from? Yes. Where do, the what is the usage? How do I increase the usage? And the retention? How do I retain my customer? For this, one of the very important parameter is geographical insight. Our session is primarily designed on the geographical insight, which is talking about the geographies from where the insights can be driven. But trust me, if you look at plain Gen vanilla data or refer to Microsoft Excel, you would not be able to give it a better visualization approach. And with this objective only, this entire short-term training program has been conducted and being conducted. Now, the final Ratna, the final Ratna that you referred was Amrita. And for organization, can someone tell what is the final Ratna? So this is my last question before I move on to anything. So what is that final Ratna that you think is equivalent to Amrit for an organization? Profits. Awesome. So Suhasini, you actually nailed it Dr. Gajendra, results wonderful. But trust me, somewhere or the other, most of the organization are somewhere working for profitability. If they are looking for profitability, they would not leave any stone unturned. However, there is a concept I was referring to my recent course from Wharton. They said, initially there was a sales concept, then there came a marketing concept, a product concept, production concept, and the latest they call is a trust concept. They are actually planning to build trust among their their consumers. Why trust? Just to increase repeat purchase, and also with an intent of lifetime customer value. The Pareto principle also suggests the same. Now, first things first, for coming to a conclusion or taking an action, we need to go back and deep dive into the insights part of it. Now, how does one get insight? We have read about segmentation, so I'm also relating it somewhere to marketing, because I'm sure everyone would have read Kotler and would have read it like Bible. So it is segmentation. How do you break your data set, or how do you break the entire prospects into various categories? They may be demographic, psychographic, geographic, and whatnot. But here, I also want to make it a point that those were the days when four P's were ruling. And one fine day, my teacher taught me that there are seven P's. But trust me, these days we work only on two P's. Only two P's. What would be those two P's? Just to tell you, they're none of those four P's or seven P's or 700 P's. What would be, according to you, those two P's of marketing? Okay, profit. Okay. Anyone? Wild guesses? Good, bad, ugly guesses? No problem. We are family. Not a problem. So, just to tell Darshan and Dr. Gajendra, they are not two out of those four or 400. Fresh P's have been created. Not advertisement does not start from P. So that's how the business analytics gained so much popularity. That's how analytics is so much in demand. And trust me, those were the two P's. I mean, you may find it in a book, you may not find it in a book, but these are the concepts that were taught during my recent program with Wharton. They said that the four P's have now become people and P's. Dr. Maharajana, yes, it can be, but they have said that it is pipeline and personalization. You create a pipeline of resources, you create a pipeline of customers, you create a pipeline of prospects, and then personalize your offerings. Now, what is pipelining and personalizing, and why are we discussing it? Is it somewhere related to analytics? Is it somewhere relating to my session of Tableau and analytics or geographical insights? Yes. Don't be surprised if your suggestions on the Amazon are exactly as per your requirement. You search anything and you get the same thing as an offer. Frequently bought together products are also being pasted together, and that philosophy is called market basket analytics, where the affinity between the products is caught. Those were the days when the the Tata Chromas of the world were ruling, and yes, and other things were prevalent in the market, or probably the Vijay sales from Bombay was very popular, or the Reliance Digital was selling TV. These days, even the television like items are being sold online. You just see that it is 4K, it is smart, it is Sony, it is 1072 model, 109 MRP, 48% discount, bang on, I want to buy it for 55,000. That's what people are doing. Don't be surprised if you buy a shirt from Amazon after trying it from their branded store, because people are creating pipelines for themselves. Those pipelines of purchase are being leveraged by the organization basis their taste and preferences and prospective buying behavior, and then personalizing the offers. You go to a store, maybe an online store, do not visit, just visit and do not buy. Don't be surprised if discount come exclusively for you. I've worked for various telcos as well. So you would be surprised to see messages in your inbox is only for you. Why it is for me? If I see at 11:12 a.m., the message has come last day of cashback, 30 cashback on minimum recharge only for you. That's how they are creating a personalization. And the carpet bombing approach that used to be earlier has now become a precision bombing. Now, on this note, how precision bombing is happening, I would touch a point which is geographical precision bombing. Geographical, again, geography, latitude, longitude, states, regions, districts, postal codes, and countries. This session, we would be only talking about it. Otherwise, it's a complete module in itself, and we would be talking only about the geographical insight. I wanted this background to be set so that we understand that why we are doing it. Because I sincerely do not love when people do, but without knowing why are they doing it. With an intent of creating this, I have shared a data set with you. On this chat box, may I kindly request you to please open the chat box and refer to the Excel that has been shared. The name of the Excel is Superstore subset, Superstore data set. Now, just refer to the Superstore dataset. Do not think of anything else like a Tableau, because let me tell you, Tableau is just a tool. It can help you. It cannot help you develop that acumen. For developing that acumen, these kinds of programs are being organized. My intent is, yes, to give you the knowledge of Tableau, but more importantly, to develop that acumen. And I think that sense of analytics is worth millions rather than, just learning any code from some place, from Coursera or any other program. So my intent is to tell you the sense why we are doing it. Please open the Excel and in the chat box, try to share what are the geographical insights that one can derive. Just to support you, just not to put too much load on you, I would be just opening an Excel in front of you so that you can relate with it. This is the Excel sheet that I have shared. Why Excel sheet? Because it is the Excel format. Otherwise, I would call it a data set. So I have shared a data set with you, and the data set refers to a superstore. And a superstore is somewhere located in the United States. And, it has various, headers. The headers for visual analytics, I have populated in red. I had all the leverage not to put it in red, but just to prove my point that change in the color outstands and outshines, I have made it color red. Red represents the header. So that's where the header is located. And these are the row items. There are some 9,400 row items available. So 9,426 to be precise. And order priority, discount, unit price. So these data points are being captured by a superstore with an intent that they would be able to draw some meaningful insight at a later stage using this information. And also, as a sanity check, they keep this information handy with them. These are the returns, orders which were returned, and these are the users. For now, just focus on the orders part and use the chat box to show that what kind of geographical insights, I repeat, geographical insights can be drawn. What are the geographies? Region, state, and city, along with the postal code. So these four can be clubbed and used to get geographical insight by drawing a cohort with one of the things. I'll show you as an example. In Excel, we have a functionality called pivot table. If I go to insert tab and click on the pivot table and go to the next sheet, if I'm a smart worker, I would try to get the state on the row and maybe the profit on the other sides. Or yeah. So it put profits on the other side. So this activity here, this activity would help me get the state-wise profits. See, the state or province-wise profit. Now, I told you that these decimal places were born to confuse in case you're not looking for precision. I would be reducing the decimal places, but see, too much data point. Alabama, Arizona, California, Delaware, District of Columbia, Florida, Georgia, it's all confusing. It all looks black and white. See, it's entirely black and white. I mean, these all 50 odd states of US, and I am simply confused which one to pick, which one not to pick. Now, I ask you that using your existing knowledge, what are the kind of geographical insights that you can draw from the data set? The chat box is open. Yeah. So we have started getting feedbacks that region-wise sales and profit, states with highest sales, lowest sales. Rubina, absolutely wonderful. So I request others to also try to relate various data points, because geography standalone is not going to help. Just to tell you as an example, COVID cases pan-India and globally and otherwise are being shared in a geographical manner. The Arogya Setu app is also giving us geographical insights, yes or no. It is telling you in 1 kilometer radius, this is the status. In your district, this is the status. In your state, this is the status. And comparison. Also think on the comparison perspective. Dear participants, you can also think from the comparison perspective, that year on year growth, month on month growth, region versus region 2, comparison, state-wise comparison, sales, wonderful Suhasini, sales at various region, profit at various region, awesome. So through this, we are getting a lot. And I also welcome others to participate. Very nice. So Naina has suggested, Naina Kurne, that costing through various modes of travel. Wonderful. But just align your brain to geographical insights. Otherwise, you will be all over the place. Just think geographically. That using geography, what's the best method that I can come up with? Okay. Now, if I ask you, using your existing knowledge of Microsoft Excel, how would you visualize? See, we are coming to the topic. How would you visualize these geographical insights if you want to show it to your seniors? Charts, Rubena, yes. You can be more precise, pie chart, bar chart, whatever chart. Charts, Netra is also saying charts, bar charts. Wonderful. Maps. So Hasini, how will you create maps on Excel? I mean, you can type in the chat box. Okay. Charts, pie charts, wonderful. More people can join in, and let me tell you, the more you participate, the more you would gain. Because we never know that we may be working on a wrong apprehension or maybe an incomplete apprehension. And if we discuss in the forum, it's better. And we have nothing to lose at the end of the day. I mean, until unless we participate here, how would we get our doubts cleared? Wonderful. So Suhasini has also said that, there's another way of maps, and so has Rubena. And wonderful. Hi, good afternoon, Sneha. You said good afternoon to everyone. So, through this platform of Microsoft Excel, there were some constraints. That is where Tableau came into picture. The ultimate insights were shared using the charts, the bar charts, the pie charts, or the entries that were made. Now, I have also shared a link of Tableau Public with each one of you. And in case you have Tableau Public installed on your systems, I request you to start, working with me in tandem. I shall be sharing some information with you, and then you can perform at your end. So we would be spending next 1 hour where I would be telling you something and you have to practice on your machines. Only then you would learn. Otherwise, it would look like a very, rosy picture and things would be hunky-dory. But towards the end of the module, you would say, okay, we had a module and this ended, and when is the certificate coming? But you would not have that crisp learning which is expected. So I would be sharing my screen, and I request you sincerely to please, please, please download Tableau Public or Tableau for a 14-day trial version, but Tableau Public gets installed as is, and then so that we can move ahead. So, once we are at Tableau Public, there's an option in Tableau once the simple Tableau opens up. You would see an option to click to the data set. Data set is directly available in Tableau, and I will show you how you can relate. If you open Tableau on your machines, it gives you an option to link to the data set, and on the left hand side bottom, the option of Superstore. So this one, Sample Superstore, is available. Sample Superstore. This is how the main window of Tableau looks like. This is how the main Tableau window looks like. Once you open Tableau, it would look like this. And you have an option to connect to the data set. It is available. And I request you to please open Tableau, and then the data set is available for consumption. So if you click here, you would be able to see the sample superstore, and I request each one of you to reach this stage. Now, what is this data set? Let me show you. This data set is more or less similar to the data set that I have shared with you. The data set, I hope everyone is able to see the screen. In case you're not, just unmute yourself and tell me, or the organizers can unmute themselves and tell me. So this is a data set that has all the fields. To see the fields, you can have a look like this. To begin with, ABC, say it's a dimension, or as we say, it's a qualitative data that cannot be calculated. If there's a calendar kind of sign, all these small signs have some significance. These calendar kind of signs, so they are similar to this calendar which is there. So always remember, it is related to a date or a time. If it is ABC, it is the name of the shipping mode, name of the customer, again a qualitative. If it's a globe sign, if a globe is mentioned, think that it is related to a geographical information, and this entire session revolves around geographical insights. ABC, again a qualitative. Number, hashtag quantitative. Then again, there are some other things that we will learn later, but as of now, just focus here. You want to see the data set? That's how it looks like. ABC, names, calendar, dates, calendar, date, ABC, name, globe sign, country, city, state, postal code, region. Immediately it changes ABC category. I'm just referring to the ABC which is mentioned on the top and just gazing you through the data set which is available. Similarly, now this is a different entry that we should be leveraging. And most of you typed in the chat box that geographical wise insights. Hashtag. And hashtag is what? It is a number. Again, a hashtag, it means it is also called a measure or a quantitative information. Discounts, order dot discounts is again a quantitative information. Profits, a quantitative information. So These are the data set. This is the data set that we would be working on. Now, once you open the data set in Tableau, that entire piece would come on the left-hand side of the screen. So the left-hand side is the entire toolbox. See, various tools call it a toolbox, various tools call it something else. But on the left-hand side, you have the entire data set. The right blank sheet in most of the cases is called a canvas. In SAS, we used to call it canvas, and someone would call it something else. Someone would call it a drawing board, but it is generally called a canvas. Now, again, our job our job is to get geographical insights. Let's not deviate from that because this entire session is about geography. So step one, we need to identify the independent variables that we would be working on. What would be my independent variables if I am working on the geography? If you see on your left hand side of the screen, and few of you may want to practice after I take a pause, location has various independent dimensions which are called region, country / region, state, city, and postal code. They are all geographical inputs available in the data set. Now, if we move ahead, we would be correlating it with some quantitative information. Now, how did I arrive at this criteria? If I want to create a graph out of it, there's an option of show me on the right hand side. My mouse is pointing there, the cursor. If you click on show me, it tells you the various types of graphs which are available. I again tell you, and it is also one of the habits, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. He says you begin with the end in mind. And I tell my students that you always remember that what are we trying to solve for? We are trying to solve geographical insight. Just stay focused on that and see that if I click on show me and I want to get some geographical insight, what are the options available? Options are, I have done a mouse over on this graph and it says for symbol maps, try one geographical dimension. Dear participants, just see the sign after the geography, the globe sign. 0 or more dimension. I mean, one geographical dimension is mandatory. Geographical dimension is a must. But 0 or more dimension, they also say 0. We are happy if you use 0. And 0 to 2 measures. Measures can also be 0 to 2. If I do a mouse over immediately on the next graph, so these are my best friends for the geographical insights. Plot number 4 and plot number 5, second row, left hand side, first one and the center one. This says one geographical dimension, 0 or more dimension, 0 or 1 measure. Otherwise, it would not stop if you want to take anything. For example, someone said bar chart, pie chart. So pie chart can also be drawn, bar chart can also be drawn, histogram can be drawn, and so on and so forth. For practice, this is the tool palette, this is the start. If somebody has joined in late or has not been able to pay attention or technology glitches held him, so we would be starting with geographical insights here, and from here, this is the standard Tableau tool that is visible on your screen. And how do we start? We just look at the data points which are available, because end of the day, I would be playing among these data sets. It ranges from orders, product. You can link any data set. There's an option to link file. I will show you, and you can link any data set. If you click here and see, you can connect to any data set. I have used sample superstore, which is on the main screen. If you are here, click here and click on sample superstore, job is done. Now, just a minute. People on the left side. No, I think if you click here, and click on the sample superstore, you would get the entire thing, because for everyone's benefit, I have also opened a fresh window. So that in fact for every training I download a fresh, so that we both of us are on the same page. So this is a fresh download, and once you will download, you will also get the similar window. Region, product, details, people. Okay. People, returns, profit ratio, etc. First things first, whatever we have learned using our Excel, we would not make it a waste. We would pick a state from here, drag to the columns. We would see, someone said that, state wise profit. We would pick profit from here and drop it to the rows. It is called a drag and drop tool. This is a plain Jane vanilla graph that one can always draw. A plain Jane vanilla bar graph that you can easily draw. The output should look like this, and I request that each one participating here should also participate on their systems, so that they learn how do we do it. This is the step one. I am very happy if you want to take snapshots. You can take snapshots for your reference, and I will also try if I can store it as a story. So someone said that, graphs make dashboard, dashboard makes story. Yes, it stands true for Tableau. I would make it as a dashboard or a story and share with you, but you can take snapshot. So state and sum of sales, normal standard geographical information that we could have got from Excel. If you want to see, I can show you, but I'll show you how Excel also helps here. So share screen, if I go to the Excel, remember we did this activity where I created some geographical insights like this, that sum of profit, etc. And now if I go here and try to insert a table, then a similar kind of insights I would be able to draw. See, a similar kind of table. A similar table drawn in an Excel and a similar table drawn in a Tableau. Now, what are the benefits of Tableau? We would also understand. If we don't see some, need some, how do I plot data? See, something or the other you will have to summarize using the pivot table. You don't need some, then you have to put an average and something of that sort. I'm taking queries side by side, so that, one should not be, because this session is slightly different from the previous session. And if had it been a physical training, I would have walked on to your individual machines. But if you don't need some, you have to either average or something, or probably how will you summarize that this state has done this much? You have to do a sum or an average or a max or a min. Some mathematical implication will have to be taken up. So I'll just walk again to my Tableau screen. So I went to the Excel screen just to tell you that Excel also had this capability, but why there was a need is very important. Otherwise, we can learn the entire Tableau, but someone asks us that why did you use Tableau and not Excel? We may not be able to answer. So step one is same as Excel. Now, next is what? I've designed step 1.5, but what is it? Use this one. There's an option to swap the rows and columns. Remember my first exercise with you when I told you that this way you would not be able to read the names of the states. You will have to tilt your screen or tilt your neck. Something has to be, rotated so that one is able to understand. So Indiana or, Illinois, you will have to do something like this or tilt the screen. Tableau addressed this. In Excel, you have an option to swap row and column. Tableau addressed it by a click of a button like this. You can notice that at step 2, and this is where I have represented it step 1.5. And you can in fact take it as step 1.5, that if you click on this screen, the information gets rotated. Now next is what? We have reached a level, but if I ask my viewer that, okay, dear viewer, what do you think has been the highest, what do you think is the state that has generated the highest sales and sum of sales? He would say, on screen one, I see California. On screen, I think that, California was higher, and I go back and I confirm that it is California. But do you think this is the standard way that we should be operating on? No, not at all. What do? I go here, I click here, or this was my step 1.5, and there's an option. Can you see these options adjacent? See the magic. Data has been arranged in the descending order just by click of a small button. I do not want descending order. I am interested in the ascending order. I want to do action. I click here, it automatically gets generated as a ascending order. The row also, see this sign also shows, and if you do a mouse over, it says sorted ascending by sum of profit. Can someone tell me that why Texas and Ohio are on the top with such a huge bar? However, it is descending order. You can use the chat box. Why are they coming on top with such a huge length? However, the length direction is standard here. Why are these 7-8 states coming atop? I'm just referring to the chat box. Rubena, I don't think so. That why they are coming atop. I have arranged the data absolutely, Suhasini. They are negative. They are negative. Now, if I do a mouse over, and the participants, wonderful Priya Chaudhary, you're absolutely bang on when you say loss. So I'm just putting your chat box also visible. So these are the losses. See, distance from the origin, or the 0 point on the x and y axis, are being plotted here. Now, as a smart worker, what do I do? Can I click on profit and click on the labels? What do you say? Better visibility? I'm sure they're looking better. What do I say if I click on profit and use the color theme? And see, I told you on the right hand side, if you see now, the shade is representing the profit, the numbers are being there. So imagine we were here, we went to here, we reached this place, we were thinking that this is going to be better or the best, but we discovered that this is even better. We have used the color code. Now someone would say, I do not like the color, I'm not able to understand. There's always an option to click on edit colors and change the theme. You click here, then you change the theme, then you go here, then you can say, okay, see, we have grown up like this. We have grown up like this, that red signal says stop, orange means wait, and greens means go. Traffic signals I'm talking about. And also in our experiences, whims and fancies, we think that if something is represented with red, it is danger, and if it is green, we can pass away easily. There's no barricade if it is green, so you can easily walk through. So I use the standard theme that if it is red, it is loss, and if it is green, it is profit. More the green, more the profit, more the red, more the loss. But if I'm not around, how would they understand? If I'm not explaining, is it self-explanatory? Can someone tell me how is it self-explanatory? Where should one refer to understand the legend? That what color is representing what? The chat box is in front of you. How? How self-explanatory? The color itself. And what else? So Dr. Shalini and Anupam Sen, wonderful. Otherwise, on the right hand side top, on the right hand side where I'm doing the mouse over, there's an option of legend. So as a basic hygiene, every graph has a legend, and the legend on the right hand side top is shouting that, even if someone does not get his, senses applied, but all these colors are representing. And I'm pretty good with colors. I again want to go and click on colors, and I still want that, my team should not be shattered. So I'll tell you, when we were, I used to practice as a practitioner in the industry, we said, so once there are liars, then there are big liars, and then there are business analysts. So my boss would come and say that, do not let the geographical managers die their own death, or you do not put them in red. I used to smartly change the color to yellow. And, one would say that, okay, our label theek hai, but, you do not make it red. Red looks very danger. Then I used to change the color. If it is orange or green, then there are no profits. If it is dark green, then it is profits. So then there are liars, then there are big liars, then there are data visualizers. So bigger than big liars. And then absolutely how they can, make it easily walk through. This slide can easily walk through. Certainly. So Priya has also represented. So Priya Chaudhary from SIBAR Pune, wonderful. And the negative number also represents. Yes. So for that, I would remove the labels. So that's how, people would go drop labels and drop lines. But here, for, never show. I remove the label. So that, I can click on and remove the labels, and that's how I do it. But as of now, I think this information, to my mind, arriving at this stage was not that easy when it came to Excel. Excel, we could have drawn a pivot table. See here, none of us draw the pivot table. It was drawn automatically using the visualization algorithms at Excel and combining it with the Tableau insights. Just to tell you that Salesforce is an organization that has recently acquired Tableau. So Tableau is now owned by Salesforce. So I worked on Salesforce, so I know, the pedagogy that they would have used here. So that's how we can represent. But trust me, do we think that, someone said that, if I have to create a dashboard, then how do we get multiple insights? On this note, if I put state as well as, so, if I don't want to do, I would put a duplicate. So there's a tab of duplicate. In Excel, we have an option of right click, copy, keep original. Here, on click of a button, I have not disturbed my original sheet and created a copy. This is where I'm referring to duplicate. Duplicate is that option that creates exactly same copy within seconds. Now, if I also want to put, see, profit is an independent thing, which is an outcome of the sales. So here, I also want to see the sales. Now, can you see this? In fact, tell me, you know, just a minute. If I want to plot a graph, I want to plot a fresh graph where I want to put the quantity of the sales along with the profit or discounts. So I can increase my sales just by giving heavy discounts. So the same state, Arizona, is represented in a way that both the things are getting displayed. On one end, you can see Arizona has created this much discount and incurred this much sales. However, multiple interpretations can be done, quantity as well as discount. If I'm a smart player, I can try the graph like this. And if I want to put labels, I can put labels. So I wanted to practice these things as well. That if I want to want to show labels here, I want to go to the quantity and display the labels. And if I want to go to the, the other piece, I can also display the labels of the sales. So, things can be portrayed in very different manner, and what is that label that you want to show. But the intent I want to show you is this, that multiple entries can be portrayed. See, if we refer to this, multiple entries for Colorado is showing profit as well as Colorado is showing sales. So two-dimensional inputs can be given. This is what phase A of the training is all about. Phase A. Now I applied these two, I clicked on these two shortcuts just to show you that, how can I swap the rows and the columns, and how can I arrange the data in the ascending or the descending order. Can you see that Texas incurred losses despite of the high sales? When we were looking at the, Texas alone in terms of sales, we were happy. But when we, created a cohort of the sales along with the profit, the scenario is absolutely different. How? You can see it here. Profit and sales. So a smart worker is always there who can see that, I want to see two variables together. I want to take a pause here and I want you to practice for a minute where you would be taking more than one variable together and practicing all these. I'll just keep myself on mute for a while and want you to practice this. So just to give you a quick recap, this was step one that we had, where we simply plotted the state and the sales. Step 1.5, where I swapped the rows and columns, no additional insight. Step 2, mathematical application of ascending order or descending order. Then moved on to step 3, where more than one variables added together, and then maybe I would say a cosmetic change, where I added some colors, where I added some text labels, etc. That's what I wanted to share in the phase 1 of the training program. Now we would start with phase 2, that if these insights were to be driven at a geographical level, then where is that smoothness to eyes coming in? I mean, I cannot even have one view at one point in time. I have to scroll one after the other. What do we suggest? Either we zoom in or zoom out, not helping at all. However, in most of the cases, it is going to be benefited. For instance, a case like a region wise, you have to put a region here, and then you have to put, say, profit. It can still make sense if it is single region. If region is not there and some northeast, west, south are there, it can still help. For postal codes, again a plethora. See, look at that, not helping. So the intent is, it may help, it may not help. You have to be very judicious and cautious while using it. Now, what this session aims, and the hero of the session comes, is the output in this format. What I want is, I want to see the discount. I want to see the discount, but not at the cost of seeing it on different windows. I want to see the information on the map of United States. We would be practicing it and telling you how do I do it. This was the plain canvas which was there. And if I forcefully do not drag and drop it here and drop this here, see, I did not forcefully dragged my state to the row or the column. Rather, I picked the state from here and dragged it to the column. There are people who do it in a different way, who do not drop here or probably, bring the state part to someplace else. But I am really, fond of picking up the details there. So this is how you can clear the screen in one go. This is where my mouse is pointing. Now, there are some people who bring the state here. There are some people who bring the state to color. But, to my mind, just clear it and just drag the state part to the blank canvas. That's the best. Automatically, system selects the rows and the columns. The longitude and the latitude are automatically plotted in the columns field. Next step. If I do a mouse over here and tell you that what is it mentioned, it says, if you follow the screen, it says one geographical dimension, 0 or more dimension. It focuses on measures. The measure is highlighted in green color. If it is green in color, and again see small visualization insights. Measure is in green color. If I come here and I see measure in the green color. These are the measures in the green color. I take profit or sales, whatever suits me, and I drop it to the color section. And if I go to the color and change the theme and I come up here and again I repeat the same smart activity of changing it to the obvious color choice, and I can save to save the skin of my sales team as well. I can make it a little like this. See, all these red are denoting that the sales are low. The sales are low. They can be easily thrashed and bashed at any point in time. And my boss also wants me to put sales number at every place. Now, if I want to put sales number, I would click on sales and drop it to the labels. That's how I can deliver. But trust me, the sales guy or the sales head would be, I would say, hold your feet that please save me from this, activity of getting bashed. Just please change the color. So it has happened with me. That's why I'm telling you. So I would then go and smartly change the color just to save their life that, okay, do not look that red. At least this change in color looks that people are working. The initial color showed that people have no interest to work and are here not to make sale. A small change in color, trust me, it helps at an organization level to a huge extent once you want to portray your message in a different way. Because end of the day, you just don't want the sales to stop working. You want to show that your sales are less, but they have to increase. That's how you work on. Now, if that's how I have created. If I have to create a region-wise discount, again, I put a latitude and longitude and bring in my discount piece here. And if I have to bring profits here, I can change like this. So the tip for you is you can, automatically click on the state. And friends, just double click also helps. Initially, I told you to drag and drop because I'm very fond of, and these tools are fondly called drag and drop. It also, is an exercise of your hand if you drag and drop. And Otherwise, if you simply double click on the state, it works the same, let me tell you. But if you want to see the insights, if you want to see the insights, that what are the kind of inputs that I want, then you bring the sales and drop it here. See, that also helps. How? The color dark blue denotes that the sale is very high, and the lighter blue denotes that the sale is very less or minuscule. I am a huge fan of putting labels, so I can put, but see what have I done? I have smartly not put the label of the same thing which is represented in colors. One would say it is not two-dimensional and not apt, but what have I done? I have put in the sales as well as profit in the same screen. Just a minute, there is some noise happening. So simply, I had an option to put the same label. So this is where I can drop, but I smartly put the sum of the sales here. And when given an opportunity to use the label field, I click on the profitability, which is more dearer to the head of the organization, and put it in the label. This gives a beautiful insight. The insight says that Oregon state of the United States has done sales of $17,000 maybe, but on the contrary, has incurred losses. What would I do? There is an action, a check, or a balance need to be taken. That's how you explore things and explore and make changes. Just have a list here, and we will do it again. So, if given an opportunity, I would change my style that it is not mandatory to have same insights in the color and text. That's how we do it. Now, this is not just the end. I will create a duplicate here. Now I want to show a very important field which is going to be very helpful. So there is a filter tab which is atop. Now, someone said in the chat box initially that we can have a product category wise insight. Product category wise. Here in the filter tab, I would not be a wise person if I put any measure field. I have to put a dimension field. So if I drag my category field here, immediately it says which category. By default, it shows all categories. If I want to see one category at one point in time, say furniture, I click here and click on OK. The graph has changed, and as an evidence, the previous graph that had all the categories, Washington had 33,000 profit units and 138,000 sales unit, vis-a-vis Washington with furniture has 71,000 profit unit and sales unit. These information are then further used to create ratios of sales and profit, etc. You can always zoom it in case you want. Zoom also works, zoom in, zoom out. If you click here, you want to focus on one screen, there's a zonal head of this particular state. You would zoom, and at times you don't even want to show And at times you want to take a snapshot, but you do not want to take snapshots of others. So here you can take a snapshot. If I try like this, now the snapshot that has come here belongs to Mississippi only. That's why zoom option should also be utilized. I would be deleting it for a while, but that's how a zoom also comes in. So we started from step 1, went to step 2 through step 1.5. Step 3 suggested multiple insights. There were some cosmetic changes that were made. Then practice again with the data labels. Postal code, just to tell you that every time bar graph may help, may not help. So here we took a break between the phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 2 started from here, where we portrayed on the map of a particular place the insights. Here I told you that how the same color and number can be represented, just so that 17,431. But I wasted my space because mouse over was also telling the same thing, and the internal value was also same. So it gave me an idea. I moved ahead and tried to use my smartness to show that profit and sales can be represented together. Then I have shown two things together, how the profit and the sales are changing. Now, if you can change, you can again make various changes, you can, edit and whatnot. Then I would be removing it because I do not want to confuse the audience. Then I moved here and I smartly brought in furniture part into the play. And using the furniture, it also showed me that, okay, I have an option to edit the filter where I can edit and make it to office supplies and click on OK, and immediately the output of office supply comes in. If I click here and just a minute and I click on show filter, very smartly, I am giving the liberty during my presentation to myself that, okay, I have the liberty to click on any category at any given point in time. And at a click of a button, if my technology head is sitting and wants to see the output around technology, I would click on technology without showing technology head that, madam, you need not see everything around furniture and office supply. I will show you only the technology piece. And once my technology head walks in, these are the areas. Ma'am, you have not done any sales there. You have not done any sales there. You have not done any sales there. So that is where my insights would come in. My insights would come in. The technology head walks away. My office supply head walks in. Here, sir, you have not done any sales. My furniture head walks in. I say, sir, here you have not done any sale. So depending upon the interest of my viewer, I would keep on swapping my details. That's how I would do. If I want to see a presentation mode, I click to the presentation mode. Very simple. You click here and show the presentation mode. The slide looks way smarter than ever. Here I tell you my tip that remove the tool and focus on the story. North Dakota, furniture, no sales. That's my story. Office supplies, Wyoming, no sales. This is where my final output and final success story lies. Here, now I go back. I can do whatever changes I want to. I've used the filters, I've used the maps, I've used the labels, and there are some further fields that you would learn in the upcoming session. And from my side, as far as the geographical insight goes, I think you have learned enough. And if you're able to use this information as part of your daily work, you would be amazingly benefited, and trust, people would be surprised by your knowledge, and the output that you would put on the graph, that would be very good. So see, you have learned from how business analytics started, why it started in Excel, what were the problems in Excel, why Tableau came in, what else can be done in Tableau, how Tableau can speed up your work. And in last 1 hour, you learned that from the problems to the history to the origin, then walking to the Tableau introduction, then swapping, then quick insights leading to informed business decision. And with this, I feel that whatever I could have shared with you in this span of time of 1.5 hour, I was able to do justice to your time as well. And now we can open the house for discussion with the permission of the respected organizers.
So, participant, do we have any question? So, one question is as posted by Anupam Sen. Maybe compare two column values using bar chart without using sum or average function.
See, thank you, Anupam, for asking the question. And Anupam, the question is very valid. So, Anupam, just to tell you that, while in business, I worked for data sets that had more than 1 crore unique users. So I worked on a telecom data set, and telecom, if I talk about, say Andhra Pradesh, so the users were or more than 1 crore for that operator. So for 1 crore operators, 1 crore users, I had to give some insight to my say seniors. Now, uh, to my seniors, they may not be interested in looking at the value of each individual. What they were interested in, that okay, tell me the state-wise insight, and once you reach say one state, which is Andhra Pradesh, give me the district-wise insight. The next insight that they wanted, I remember, was between rural and urban. So somewhere or the other, they wanted the insight to be compressed, consolidated at a particular dimension, which was a district or a rural versus urban. Now, your question is, I do not want a sum or an average. Now, to my mind, there are either two ways. Either you present the absolute values that okay, Devesh is a customer in rural who has this much, and this is a customer that has the highest. But what they were interested in is its average, and average also represented that this is how this particular geography is trending, because what they are interested in the trend and getting the curves or the kinks of the graph and getting insights. So individually, to my mind, without averages and sum, they may not be able to get a gross level information. However, individual level, for instance, you are working for Will's Lifestyle or West Side. West Side has stores in Chennai. There are 4 stores. There is no requirement of putting a column or of putting an average or a sum. But in case somebody is sitting at the national level and wants to see the information of Indian West Side stores performing, which is a retail outlet, there is no choice then to make a sum or an average at a district or a state level to present. So I think without using a sum or an average function at a broader level, at a gross level, at a CEO level, I don't think it would be helpful for this activity. Now, to my mind, or maybe a min value or a max value, these are the information until unless you apply some statistical insights. The standard deviation I'm not talking about, but deviations from the mean is very important just to identify the outliers. I think you would have to apply these statistical insights to get meaningful information until and unless you are looking for something which is small in number, maybe the scores in your class, the students of your class. I need not do an average, because when the result card is uploaded, it is at an individual level. Devesh scored this much, Priya Chaudhary scored this much. But when the scores is published by a CBSE board, they need averages. Boys have performed this, girls have performed this, and at a Hindi channel, it would come that ladkiyon ne bazi mari. So these kind of things, I think that, things are like that. They come up with law of averages at one point in time. Now, Rubena has asked question that negative and positive value give us an idea of the lowest and highest sales. But can we explicitly highlight states? Yes, Rubena, Sheikh, the colors were, indicators where, remember when we indicated it with colors. So the red color was saying losses and, the highest was saying sales. Alternatively, you are saying that, lowest and highest sales. Sales can again be represented that lighter green, the color, the same format of changing the colors and the legends. They would explicitly speak up about the high and low sales. So Tanmay says, if I have only specific name for all the states of India, can you do a graphical representation? So see, if the names are there, if names of India states are in the data, then you can change from the properties and choose country as India. See, if everything is coming as state, the state name is same, then you have to change it to the property and choose the country as India. Otherwise, if the name is given, or alternatively, at times latitude, longitude, or postal codes are given, then you can get into that level. But generally, name of all the states of India with one specific name. I don't think you would be able to do it at a state level, but graphical representation, you have to change it to the country as India so that there's no confusion. And within that, you can change the properties. Rubena, only two regions you want to show and explicitly see. If there are only two regions, a simple bar graph also stands out and speak, isn't it? These are two lines. One is taller and one is shorter. It can be easily and explicitly. I think colors can be very helpful. Priya Chaudhary, or maybe a pie chart to answer Rubina, because the size of the pie also represents the involvement. So, for example, Rubina, two regions. If you have two siblings at home, uh, it's very easy to tell that who has taken the highest pie in the cake, because the smaller pie would be given to the smaller sibling and the elder pie to the bigger sibling. So size of the pie is an indicative of the share and the bigger brother or the elder brother or sister. And I think if there are two people, pie chart is what I feel, because that shows the mix, that okay, this is how this is performing and this is the smaller one. So imagine it's a pie chart, and you can easily say that this one has a higher inference than a smaller one. Now the next question is from there are a lot of questions. What else can we do with Tableau? So Priya, text analytics can happen. We can do outlier analysis, and then, as someone said that it can help you create dashboards, stories. So these are the things that can happen. So outlier. Now, what is an outlier? So for example, you have got data from the data team, and they've got entries across. For instance, a classroom. A classroom of grade 5 student has age written against their name. You bring into the Tableau and plot it, and for instance, by mistake, one of the students' age has been mistyped as 1 instead of 12, or 120 instead of 12. Automatically, you would see that entire graph, spatial index I'm talking about, spatial indices graph is here, and one of the kid is lying 500 meters away. I mean, 500 is a notional number, but pretty away from the median. It is also called standard deviation, which is deviation from the mean. That helps you do the outlier analysis. So that's how it can be helpful. And otherwise, dashboard, stories, outliers, and text. And as I told you that, Tableau is just a tool. It's your wisdom and your insights that you're going to apply, and that is going to help a lot. So I think, thank you, Himani, Sneha, and words can't thanks the kind of thanks that you. Thank you, everyone. And just in case I have tend to miss one of the queries, or however I try to cover most of them, but just in case I have missed, so we would be open to the emails, and you can route it through our respected organizers, and they can help you get the resolution to the query. They can forward it to me, and I can always forward it to you. The resolution will be in your inbox, rest assured. So I think we've tried to do justice, and trust me, at the end of the day, as I used to tell in my SAS trainings as well, SAS is not an alternate to human brain. Similarly, Tableau is not an alternate to your brain. You have to tell that, which one is to be there and which one is not to be there. And, for region, so prior to, how only the ISAL region, if you click on the region and right click, it can populate. Otherwise, we generally do not recommend. So region being, you have to bring parity in the graph. So the legend would not support. If we, change maybe the lower and the higher sale, I've done it, I've tried it, and I used to encircle it. I used to bring back and insert a shape. But what we have learned is just to bring a parity in the graph. If you do a parity and tell, sir, the lighter color represents and darker is this, automatically it helps. Do not go away from the basics. Do not try to experiment too much. Just in case you want to show, just take the photograph, make a dotted green line around it, and add your remarks, highest sale by this. I would not recommend to do anything here. And I have learned that a standard way of presentation is more, easy to understand than if we do any, inciting. But, someone said that what is the difference between the story and the dashboard? And dashboards can be viewed as PPTs in story format, but difference between dashboard and the story, someone also said, a mix of the graphs would become a dashboard, and a mix of the graphs, dashboards would become stories. So that also stand true. So these are stories and enhanced version of a dashboard, let me tell you. And these are some fancy words, and this also brought to table a new subject called storytelling. And some people post on their LinkedIn, I'm great at storytelling. Graph was that graph, then it became a dashboard, then dashboard became a story became a storyteller. And you would be surprised, in many universities storytelling is a subject of 2 credit. So that to my mind was surprising. Why not data visualization, and why only storytelling? How would you tell a story without visualizing? So these are the questions that also crop up in my mind. So thank you, everyone. I think now I request the organizers to sign in.
Thank you, sir. A big thank you for demonstrating geographic visualization. Simple step. The way you explained the hands-on session was outstanding, sir. Thank you for being with us today, sir.
Wonderful. And I once again thank all the dear participants and respected teachers who have joined in, spare time. And it is very tough for a teacher to learn from a teacher, but end of the day, we are all learners for life. I would also love to be part of certain sessions. Just in case any one of you is organizing, I would be obliged, and with the permission, I can be easily located on LinkedIn. My name is very unique. I would come atop. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, and have a great day. Wish you a very happy learning. And thank you, IFET College of Engineering, once again for organizing such a beautiful session and flawless execution. And thank you to Dr. Anant for approaching me. And thank you once again to all my dear participants for being part of this session. Thank you. Have a good day.